Welcome to the Crossing the Pond podcast, hosted by me, Gary Adair, where each week our guests will recount their own experiences of resilience and transformation, whether it's moving to a new country, tackling health challenges, changing careers, or breaking through personal barriers. This week's guest is Madison Gilmore, a rising filmmaker, director and producer currently studying at NYU's prestigious Tisch School of the Arts. Beyond the creative talent is a deep well of resilience. Madison has faced grief, anxiety and depression, and yet through it all she's learned to stand on her own 2 feet, grow, connect and stay grounded. In this episode, Madison opens up about her journey, the highs, the heartbreaks and the healing, and shares what it really means to pursue your dream while staying humble, building relationships and honouring where you come from. Thank you so much, mate. I appreciate it. So you grew up in Newark. What was that like for you as a kid?
I didn't realize what was going on in Newark until I came to New York and I was listening to other people's stories of how they grew up. For me, it was fun. You stayed humble. I don't know. I feel like it was pretty normal to me. Of course, there's bad things going on, but as a kid, you just try to stay away from it and just focus on the good things. Yeah.
Yeah. Was that a good thing that you said then about staying humble and is it just about, just go do your thing, just keep going, pushing on through things?
You just keep moving, doing what you gotta do. I feel like there were definitely humble times as a kid that now I look back and it's like, oh, okay. I used to do this as a kid, so I'm okay now. But yeah, I don't know. But struggle meals. And struggle meals are rough. So now I'm in college. I'm like, oh, it's okay. I'm good. I got some bread. I got some jelly, peanut butter. All right, this is gonna work. I don't know. I feel like as a kid, I used to go outside a lot.
Yeah.
Hang out with friends. The way my mom and family raised me, they told me once the street light comes on, I gotta go in the house. So I wasn't really outside at inappropriate times or anything like that. So I don't know. It's fine to me.
Yeah, no, it makes it, I can even listen. I'm a little bit older than you, and a lot bit older than you, but
yeah.
I've moved to the US on my own around your age now.
Yeah.
Trust me, I know exactly what a struggle meal is. I know exactly what it is. If you've navigated what you've navigated and got to where you've got right now without having your mum around because she passed when you were 8. What was that? What was the relationship like with your mum up to that point as a kid? Were you really close? Did you do a lot of stuff together? Was she on you?
Yeah, I feel like me and my mom were super close. I was definitely a mommy's girl. I was attached to my mom. Yeah. But during the time I was growing up, there were clearly signs that she was sick and stuff like that. She so I used to go to the hospital with her. I used to she used to just pick me up from daycare and stuff like that. She was literally everything to me. I don't think she was on me as much.
Yeah.
I know that she used to call me the firework child because compared to my sister's calm and relaxing. With me, I'm so just doing things. So yeah, I know she used to call me the firework child, but I feel like we were super close. And yeah.
So when she passed, how has that kind of shaped the way you are now? Obviously, it's a bad time when she passes, but was there an indication that it wasn't, like you said then you recognised, but as an 8-year-old, did you really understand that she was as sick as she was?
My mother passed away from breast cancer. So by the time I started to get aware of things, she was already at stage 4. The doctors were basically saying that she didn't have long, but she ended up passing that theory and she stayed around a little bit longer. Once she passed, I felt like I was about to die too. I don't know. It was just and then the way that I got told it was, I was in the car. My father had picked me up and he actually had came to the school earlier. I was in school. It was my moving up ceremony. I was going to the 2nd grade or maybe the 3rd grade or something like that. I think I was going to 3rd grade. And it was my moving up ceremony and my father came earlier and he was like, do you want to go home early? And I was like, no, it's an ice cream party. Why would I go home early? So I stayed for the ice cream party. And then once he picked me up, he was getting a bunch of phone calls. My sister called and he was like, my sister called him and basically was asking, did he tell me yet? And he was like, no, not yet. Hold on. So he hung up and then he told me that my mom went up to the Angels. I was like, so she's just with like Auntie Jess or something like I thought like, you know, she was with her best friends or something like that. So I didn't understand. And then it finally clicked like, wow, like
Right.
she's gone. And then from that moment, it was just like breakdowns and like around family, all my family was outside the house already there. Her body was already gone. Yeah, it was a lot for me. And then it was like
Oh,
me not understanding as well that like she was gone. But now that I look at it, um I look at that moment and it's like, okay, she's gone. Her like one rule she wanted to do was see both of her kids like graduate, move up or something like that. And my sister had just graduated maybe a week beforehand and then she passed away on my moving up ceremony. So technically she's seen us move up.
yeah, technically, yeah. No, that's right. So after that point, like you said your aunts are around and things, and your dad picked you up. But after your mum passed,
Yeah.
did your family dynamic change? Because you remember you said to me that you got raised by your grandmother and your mother's mother and your auntie, who's your mum's sister. Did that happen quickly, or was that something that sort of over
Yeah. It
time?
so I was already living with my mom. Yeah, my mom was living with my
Oh,
grandma and
okay,
stuff like that. So we were all in the house. And um maybe like a
right,
few months later, my father and my grandmother, they just wasn't seeing eye to eye and my family sort of split. So I ended up getting moved away from my mother's side of my family and I had to live with my father. So during that time, it was rough because I mean, I wanted to stay with my sister, my aunt, my grandmother, but because they weren't seeing eye to eye, I sort of got put in the middle of things and I got the short end exactly. So I lived with him for a few
yeah,
years. It was definitely rocky with him. And then that's when the custody battle happened because he was trying to go to Florida and I moved back with my grandmother, my aunt.
right, okay. So so what year would that have been then when that happened? Like your dad moving to Florida or wanting to move to Florida, and then your aunt and your grandma with the custody battle. How old were you then?
I believe it was like 8th grade going into freshman year. Freshman year, I was definitely going into a custody like I
Right.
was full blown thrown in the middle of a custody battle, and it's like, bruh, it's my freshman year, and I'm dealing with this. Like I'm still adjusting and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, as a young girl there as well, and with everything that's happened and the close relationship you have with your mom and wanting to be around that side of the family as well. What is going through you? What's going through your mind? How are you dealing with that emotionally? Because listen, it's one thing to say to you at 8 years old, listen, mum's gone to live with the angels, but now you start to get older and you start to realize it and process things and what's going on, and you're much more aware of family dynamics. Like, how does that affect you
It was
emotionally?
super hard. It was really hard processing things, especially like if I was going to hang out with friends or something like that. They all hung out with their moms and stuff like that. Like I was doing errands with their moms. And so the fact that I didn't have my mom, it was just like I was confused. I was lost. I felt like everything out like place out of control. Yeah, it was just really hard.
Hmm.
I didn't know how to grieve her properly, but I knew I had to stay like respectful and like just be a good person. So I never like tried to like be disrespectful or anything. Like I had a few attitudes, strong attitudes around that time. Yeah, the fireworks.
Firework.
It exploded once in a while, but I just felt really lost. I didn't know how to feel during that time, really.
Did you have anyone that you could speak to
At that
at that
age,
age?
I wasn't really speaking too much to anyone. I mean, if I called my grandma or called my aunt, but I honestly never really spoke to anyone about it or about how I was feeling. It was always like check-ins, how are you? How are you doing? But it wasn't like I miss my mom or anything like that. Like it never got that deep into conversation.
Yeah. Would that have been because you didn't really know? Did you just think that this is the way everybody feels, or did you just not even recognize that it was such a thing until maybe after the fact, or maybe even now, I suppose, as you're a little bit older?
I feel like it was like, okay, maybe this is what everyone goes through, but I feel like I didn't really hit grief at that age. I feel like it was very shocking, but I feel like I didn't hit grief until maybe I was like 12. And like that's when I honestly was able to feel things because I understood it completely. But yeah, around that time I feel like I wasn't speaking to anyone or anything like that. Yeah.
That's tough. That's a tough one. So at 14, let's just say 14, yeah, you're stuck in this custody battle. You're going into freshman year of high school, but then you move
Yeah.
back in with your aunt and grandma at that point. What does that do for you when you?
Walking back into that house, I was like, I don't know where anything is. And they honestly would make fun of me because I was like, "Hey, where's the spoons? Where's the bowl?" And they thought that like I would remember everything, but being gone for so long and barely getting to see them because like I said, they had a really rough relationship. It was weird adjusting. But it was also fun because I was around my grandmother, I was around my sister, I was around my aunt, and I love them to death. Like I love being around them. It felt more like home, more like comfy than what I was originally dealing with.
Yeah, yeah. And did that sort of get you back on track again now? Without going too much into it, you feel a certain way when you're living with your father and you're struggling to process the grief, and then you do get to grips with the grief, but you had no one to talk to. I'm sure moving back into that household with friendly faces, albeit you can't find anything, were you able to spring back from that and really start thinking about, okay, come through the grief? Not come through the grief because you're never going to forget, but really start getting yourself moving forward?
Around that, yeah, around that time, I feel like I had so much support that it was so many outbursts and so many like me and my aunt are super close. That's literally like my best friend. And because she's my best friend, it's like she was always nagging at me. Well, not nagging, but like nagging to make sure that I was okay. And because she was nagging to make sure I was okay, it just caused me to outburst and caused me to cry and caused me to just let everything out. And it was never like a bad outburst. It was always like a very emotional, this is like a deep, like you need to let this out. Because I feel like I always have, even now a little bit, I have a hard time with letting things out just because I don't know how it's going to be perceived or, So, yeah, a lot came out during the time that I came back. And it was like adjusting because before when I lived with my father, I wasn't talking about my feelings and I was just letting everything I was swallowing everything and taking everything by ear. But like going back, it was like, no, you need to talk about this. You need to let me know how you're feeling. Da, 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 just letting everything out.
Yeah. I mean, and I suppose it's weird in a way, isn't it? Because I bet you were really independent in the sense that you had to fend for yourself before you went back. And now all of a sudden you're getting all this attention, you're getting all this love. And again, not that you weren't getting love on the other end, but more of it and more questions.
Yeah, I grew up fast. Like faster than I should have. Like I wasn't a typical 8-year-old. I wasn't a typical like 9, 10-year-old. Like it completely changed. So like I was able to have those deep conversations because my mindset was already not a typical 10, 11, 12-year-old. Yeah.
Yeah. You've had to figure it out for yourself. So, all right. So when you go freshman year, do you go straight into North Star?
I've been going to North Star since kindergarten.
Okay. So.
Yeah. K through 12.
Oh, you've gone all the way through. Okay. Oh my word, you are a lifer there. And yeah, what about when it changed to that big yellow building?
No, I was always jumping buildings. So I went to West Side Park Elementary. And so from there, I went to like another building for the middle school, but then that building changed. And then they actually had another building set for us. So I was always moving because originally I came from Bellsburg. And then I went to West Side, and then I went to, it was just too many building switches up. But I was never in the yellow building until high school.
Even though you're dealing with all the other stuff that's going on, was your academics always important to you?
Yeah. I feel like North Star is a school who hones in academics very much. And so going from there, from kindergarten to 12th grade, academics was always a thing. But personally, I felt like academics was the only thing that I could control when everything in my life was out of control. I think that's the best way I can put it. So I know that I can do work,
Yeah,
I can
yeah.
do English, math. Like that was like the easy stuff to me. It was like the at home stuff that was hard for me.
Did
Yeah,
you
it
see it
was
was so
very
school was a release almost?
I see the same people every day. I see my friends every day. And then I get lucky if I see them during the weekend. So it was definitely a release for me from everything that was going on at home. And then as I got older, it wasn't on
Yeah.
purpose, but as I got older, I started to hone in a little bit more of my craft, and then started being at school till like 9 o'clock at night, which is crazy, but
That's what it's got to be, though, isn't it? When you're doing it, you talked then about craft, right? Was there a moment when you really start to, like you said, then hone in on it? Was it a particular teacher, a particular person, a friend, maybe, or was there a specific moment that stands out, or maybe all of that, that when you really started thinking,
I've always had interest in it. My family used to have a photographer, a family photographer. I don't remember his name. I think his name was Mel, but I might be wrong. And I always like wanted to like take pictures of people, but that was like, and so like I changed my dreams a bunch of times. I wanted to be a teacher. I wanted to be a dance teacher. I wanted to do a bunch. But then once I got to high school, and it was during quarantine, sophomore year, I had to join projects for North Star and joined film and editing. And I
right,
didn't know what to expect. All I knew was that it had something to do with cameras and yeah. And once I joined that, I was doing the projects, which is kind of shocking, especially because we were on Zoom. So like a lot of people weren't doing their projects, but I was doing the projects full on acting, getting people to be in my films and stuff like that. I was getting my little cousin to be in my film. And I guess my film got passed on to it went from Mel Edwards, which was my main film and editing teacher, but Larry was also the second head teacher of all the departments, and he joined on the Zoom or like joined on the Zoom
yeah,
one day and was like, "Hey, do you want to film the school musical with me?" And I'm turning it into a film. Like, who does that? Who turns a musical into a film? But that's what he was doing. Yeah, that's what he's doing that's what he was doing during his time of quarantine. And I was like, yeah. And so I feel like that moment, just me going and actually like doing it, and it was literally in my theater teacher's backyard, Mr. Peterson's backyard, and Larry had like the whole setup, and I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. He was like, it's okay, you're gonna learn quickly. I don't know, I just feel like that moment was like, okay, I can do this because I really got invited. I was the only kid that got invited
yeah,
besides Elias, which Elias was already like doing photography and stuff like that, in which I have already like admired him. But I was like, okay,
right.
maybe I can do this because I'm the only one that got invited to do this. So I think that was the moment.
What did that film look like?
Terrible. Looking back now, I'm like, this is terrible. Why was I doing this? It was just so like terrible acting, random camera movement, like a bunch of shots overload that was not necessary. Terrible audio. It was just terrible. I don't know what he saw in that film, but
It's funny now, right? I'm talking to you now, and every now and again, you sort of brighten up when you're talking about certain things. It might just be that, like you said about the photography when you were a kid, you had a family photographer. Did you like sort of the way things look, like movies or say music
yeah, I was
videos?
always watching things I wasn't supposed to watch. I was always watching things I wasn't supposed to watch at that time. Like I was
Oh,
watching like Love and Hip Hop at like 7. What kid why? It's so much drama, cursing, and I was watching it full thrown, just in it. And yeah, I'll be watching movies. I always loved watching it, whether I thought I was going to be in front of the camera. I at that like young age, I thought I was going to be on TV. But now that I'm here, I would rather
Right.
just have my name across than be in front of TV.
That's funny. That's funny. So, all right. So that's your passion. That's your thing. And then you film the musical and things escalate, right? And you wind up, and
Yeah.
again, I'm talking to you now. I'm presuming you sat in your dorm room now. But you got yourself in and you were accepted into NYU. And so, I mean, and that in itself is no small feat. Like, what drew you to that specifically? Was there an opportunity that came about for you to apply there, or did you just...
It was time for college. I'm so indecisive. I am. So it was either I go to California. This was like my mindset. I was like, okay, I'm either going to go to California because they have great opportunities out there for film, or I can just go to New York, which has great opportunities out there for film. So I was sort of like in the middle. And then my college counselor, oh my God, my college counselor was on me. And she was like, you need to make a decision right now. Like, where do you want to go? Because we're not going to be doing this the whole year, trying to like go back and forth, going back and forth. Okay, you know what? I'm just going to apply to NYU. That's where I'm going to go. I'm just going to go apply to NYU. Like, NYU had one of the highest numbers right now. I think we're number one for film. So they have like the highest ranking numbers in film.
Yeah.
And when I was first applying, I didn't even think about like getting in. I more so thought like, okay, yeah, this is where I want to go. I'm going to go here. It was never like, oh, but it's so competitive. I didn't start thinking about that until another one of my college counselors, Mark Stolberg, he was like, you know, this is really competitive, right? You know, just in case, just have a backup plan. Do you want to apply to NYU Gallatin? You can still go to NYU and you can still like dip your toes into like film or whatever case is, because you make your own major for Gallatin. And I was like, well, if I don't get into Tisch, I don't want to go. And he was like, okay. So at NYU, Tisch was literally the only school I applied to. It's an early decision. The only school I applied to. I was playing a very dangerous game.
People will listen to this and go, I can't believe this. Like, because I'm sure that people would fight tooth and nail to get into this place where you're into, and you've just gone, I'll just do it and see what happens. And it's the only place you went. I'm presuming you didn't send them that picture.
No, absolutely
presuming you didn't send
not.
them the video with you and your cousin.
Absolutely not. No, during that time, I was the director of Uncommon Media at North Star, which is basically the media program. I was the director for 2 years, but at that time, we were already finishing up a short film that we had like created or made or whatever the case is. And I directed it. I basically led the group to make the film. And so Larry was just like, you're going to edit it too. And this is going to be your film that you submit. And I was like, but I don't know how to edit that good anymore. So like I probably missed like 2 days worth of classes just putting the film together. And that was only one part of my application. The application process had me so stressed. There was just so many essays, so many different things that I had to include, because it's not just like a regular application. Like you put your name out, it's a portfolio that you have to build and send to them. Oh yeah, it was definitely a lot, and I was definitely stressed and a lot of sleepless nights. But I ended up sending it in at like close to I was like 11 o'clock at night, and the deadline was like 11:59. Yeah.
Hey, listen, it worked. Whatever you did, it worked. So, what was your grandma and your aunt like at that point? Were they supportive, keep you motivated, keep you on top of stuff? Did they understand kind of what you were getting yourself in for? Or were they just, as family do, they just go, yeah, great?
That was my grandmother. My grandmother still to this day does not understand what I do. And that's okay. Love her to death. My aunt is definitely more supportive, more on top of things, more like, hey, did you do this? You did FAFSA? Okay, like she was on me and very supportive in anything that I do, even now. So yeah, I definitely had a great support system during that application process. My friends had my back for me.
Yeah.
when I missed class, they were sending me notes from class and stuff like that. I feel like everyone was like rooting for me, which was a really nice thing.
Really cool. Has there been a moment yet, or was there a moment in your freshman year where you're just like, okay, yeah, this is a lot bigger than I thought it was. This is a lot more. I've done well for myself to get into this place.
Yeah, I feel like the only moment that like it hit me was when other students were doing tour guides. And I was like, wow. Like I remember I was in that tour guide a few months ago and I was getting shown around the whole place. And
Yeah.
now I'm like actually in the place and I know it up and down. So I feel like those are always moments where I'm like, wow, like I'm here. Yeah, the classes, I
Yeah.
don't think anything happened in class where I was like, wow, I'm really here. Cause like they treat us like we're meant to be here. So it's not like surprising or anything. It's like you're supposed to be here. This is all the cheat codes sort of thing now.
That's cool. That's really cool. So now, so am I right? Am I right in thinking you're currently working on music video sets? Is that what you're doing?
So the number one thing that I've come to learn in this industry is that it's not about what you know, it's about who you know. And so I know one of my closest friends is very close with other people. I think one of his mentors is Benny Boom. He's a big music director. His name is Ba.
Right.
So he brings me on with him kindly. And as it's sort of like we're business partners at this point now. But I've worked I've worked with Bay Swag and Calbridge. These are all like rappers and stuff like that. But I worked with Bay Swag and Calbridge on a music video. I was the assistant director on that. I've done a few commercials for the influencer Zoe Spencer. I was also the assistant director for that. I did lighting for Glorilla for like a snippet of her music video. And yeah, I've done a TV show called Turn Your Producer Up. I was the PA intern for that one. I got literally called maybe 20 minutes after they started things, and Bob called me and he was like, hey, the producer is looking for production interns. Are you free right now? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, okay, how fast can you make it to Queens? And I was like, be there in 20 minutes. And so every like opportunity that's literally been happening has been so last minute, but I jump on them every single time. And so yeah, it's fine.
That's a thing though, you know, I think that's a big quality is recognizing there's an opportunity, but also taking it, because the amount of people go, how fast can you get to Queens? Oh, I don't know. Like you show how much you want something just by getting on the train.
And then with that show, they also brought me on the second day as well, because I guess they liked me the first day. So yeah.
It sounds like you're doing a good job if you're getting all these gigs. What are you learning just by being around that business? Because is this kind of a pathway that you chose to go down through Tisch, or is this something that's fell in your lap, but presented itself to you and you're just running with it? Is this extra stuff?
Tisch puts us in the room. And when I say like they put us in the room, they put us in a room with a bunch of talented other individuals. And it's more so using the people around you. Like networking, following up, like building relationships with people. Yeah, a lot of the things that I get to work on is not necessarily because I like got it myself. It's more so the people that I know, and they want to bring me on to a lot of like sets and stuff like that. Like set, I got a text from one of my friends.
Mm-hmm.
My friend named Pam, and she's like, hey, I need a assistant camera. Can you come? Like, I trust you. I miss working with you. Of course. Why not? I'm not doing anything tomorrow. So yeah, I feel like Tisch definitely gives us the room, and it's more so what do you do in the room. Everything else has not fell in my lap, but sort of fell in my lap because it's actually building relationships with people. That's what you have to do.
Yeah, and you know what? And I'm not trying to embarrass you, but what I'm hearing from you is like you're doing a good job, so people are asking you back, but you're not. You're so humble, like that you're not saying it. That you're actually quite good at it. But at the same time, like, it sounds to me like, yes, you get put in the room, or where you are allows you in the room, but you have to show a level of independence. Like, I mean, do you think that the independence that you had as a young kid to make your own decisions and figure things out for yourself when you had to, do you think that's helping you now because you don't rely on anyone else? You're just doing it. If you see something, you're taking it because you know that it's an opportunity. You don't need to ask somebody else for the help, or you don't need to ask someone for the advice. You know that it's a chance to go and do something, so
Yeah.
you're just going to take it. I think that might be
Yeah, I think so.
that could be just because you've been an independent
Yeah, I
soul
think
for a period of time. It's cool. When did you realize that the storytelling, the film, the directing through the film was something that was more than just a dream? Like, was it getting these phone calls that you're gonna pop out and go and work with these people, or was it like, I can really do this? I could make a living out of this. This could be my
I say
pathway.
I felt like that in high school. Like, I felt like in high school, this is a passion for me. Like, I was very serious about oncoming media, and I did
Mm.
not play around about it, even though I wasn't making any money from it whatsoever. I feel like even the I can make a living out of it wasn't even a thing for me. It was more so like, I enjoy doing this. This brings me life. Like, this is a passion for me. So it wasn't until I got out of high school where I was like, wait a minute, I can make money from this too. Like, this is fun. This is fun. So I always felt like it was a passion in high school, like especially my junior year when I was like really getting into it. My junior year at North Star, we did so much as juniors. Fashion shows, musicals, short films. Like, I feel like in high school I built that passion up so that now I can be like, okay, I know that I'm very passionate and this is what I do. Now I can sort of look into the money areas and stuff like that. But yeah.
Have you been starstruck by anyone on set? Have you walked onto a set and gone, oh, okay, there's that person?
I've never gotten nervous yet because the way I see is that they're people too, and that they are just human beings who on social media has a little bit more followers. But I say Glorilla, I'm like, this is like really her. Okay. All of the influencers. Yeah, I haven't gotten starstruck, but more so like, wow, nice to meet you.
Yeah, okay, this is real. Like, yeah, you're really here. That's funny. Where do you see your path going from here? What would you like to do as you go through? I mean, you're a sophomore now at Tisch. You've got so much ahead of you. Where would you like to go
Um,
ultimately if someone was to
I
offer you
would
that?
love to direct more. I would love to, at where I'm at right now, I'm dibbling and dabbling into everything. Um, I like a little bit of, yeah, I like a little bit of writing. I like directing. I like I like being a part of the camera crew. So um I honestly would definitely hone in on directing. I want to start producing stuff. I want to write a little bit more, and that's honestly my main focus right now. A reach in the future is having like my own production company. But we will see on that.
We'll keep an eye on that one. Yeah, I don't. And you know what the funny thing is, I don't doubt for a second that it would happen. Given that you'd probably just go, yeah,
That's
I'll do it. It's
that's
fine. We'll
future
figure it
future.
out. That's all. Yeah, but that's okay as well. You got plenty of time. You got plenty of time. How's your experience with your own mental health influenced how you approach your art or your work, or even?
Yeah, I feel like now my mental health is in a very great place. Freshman year of college, it was kind of crazy because I was adjusting again and it was just a whole lot going on. But now I am in a place where I know I have to give myself grace. A lot of people call me a perfectionist. So I know I have to give myself grace. I know I have to take these off and just rest, give myself um a mental break from things because I can't be superwoman all the time. I feel like now I sort of know what I can take, whereas last year and prior years, I was just consuming so much that I didn't know how to let it out, or I just wasn't in the right space. And I've always like tried to fix mental health for me and like get on the right track, but I feel like doing pretty well right now as far as.
Do you ever feel like the stuff that you went through, the adversity, made you more creative? Or I suppose, or maybe like the time spent on your own, a little bit more independent, got your mind working a little bit more that enhances that creativity? Or maybe...
I feel like it's both. Like, I feel like every artist uses a little bit of their life in their art, and that's exactly what I do. A lot of the films that I make and a lot of stories that I tell is usually my stories, but I just tell it in a way that people would never guess. And oh, dude, hungrier. Yeah, I feel like everything just makes me hungrier. I'm always eager to learn. I'm always eager to do things. I know that I want to be better than what I was, and I know what I don't want to be or want to look like in the future. So everything makes me hungry.
No, that's good. You're going to get to a point, if you carry on going the way you're going, which I can't see any other way, like having spoken to you, where people are going to start looking at you for advice, or maybe people are doing that already, maybe in your role as a director at the high school at North Star. Like, do you ever think about how you could pay it forward?
People
give people chances, things like that?
I have maybe like 2 people from North Star who are always looking for advice from me. I would love to pay it forward and just to be a mentor one day. I'm always looking for mentors to like grow because I'm still learning, I'm still growing. So yeah, I hope one day that I can be a mentor and like give back, and I don't know, maybe do like a camp or something for kids who are interested in being in media but don't have the opportunities that are out there. So yeah, I hope one day I can do it.
If there's someone listening who's in a similar position to you, or where you once were, what would you want them to hear? Like, if you were to go back now and speak to 8-year-old Madison, what would you want 8-year-old Madison to hear?
I think I would say trust the process. I would say even when you think things are crumbling down, they're just falling into the right places and positions for you to be successful. I think I would say every no is just another yes for later down the road. Yeah, it's trust the process. It may be rocky. It's literally a roller coaster. That is life. That's what life is supposed to be about. But it's how you navigate it, and it's how you get through it, and how you keep pushing and get up every morning. But yeah, I think that's what I would say.
Yeah. What parts of your mother do you think are still very much apparent?
My mom was a fighter. I said this a little bit earlier, but like the doctor gave her like a certain time span of life, and she surpassed that time span completely. She was a survivor, fighter. She was humble. I feel like I try to carry those things with me. She made sure that everyone around her was good and successful. And with my mom, like you could never tell when she was having a bad day. It was always like a smile. So I try to do that. I do express when I am having bad days though, because you're not always gonna have 100% to give, and sometimes you just gotta take the 30. But the fact that I'm giving 30% is something. But yeah, I try to embody those a bit.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So with everything you've been through, what do you think your younger self would say about you now?
That's a good question.
Watching those music videos as a 7-year-old, and now...
I don't think my younger self would believe it, honestly. I think my younger self would just be completely shocked and completely confused on how I even got here. Yeah, I don't know exactly what my younger self would say, but I think my younger self would be completely proud of me and would want me to just keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't think I was going to be here, but somehow things are falling into place. And I hope and I pray that everything that's meant to me keeps coming to me. Yeah, the fact that you're even interested in my story right now is just like, who would want to be interested in my story? So yeah, the fact that I'm here is my point.
Hey, listen, no, you're dead right. And again, it comes back to that humility. Like, you just don't know. And when people hear about what's going on, and it's something that's interesting to me, and you've obviously been up against it at times, but you're clearly on a path. You're on a pathway now to hopefully be really successful down the line. And,
Thank you.
I think, I'm definitely pulling for you now, even though I don't, and I'm going to sound like an absolute old man. I have no idea who these people are you're talking about. So I'm so clueless. I'll be the first. Listen, that's me being humble. I have no idea. So, but listen, Madison, thank you so much for your time. Really, it really is. And I hope people listen to it and take a little bit of inspiration from it. Some of the stuff you've said has been really cool. Before you go, sorry.
You out.
Oh, listen, like having conversations with people I've not really spoken to before who've had different experiences that maybe I haven't had, or some things, but you're talking to me and I can relate to some of the stuff you're talking to. And even if it's just struggle meals to start with, but there's a lot in there that people can latch onto and hopefully listen and take from it. But it's really cool. But before you go, a couple of quick fire questions. So the first one is, I don't know if you do karaoke or you sing in the shower, but what's your go-to karaoke song?
Right now it's Mutt by Leon Thompson.
Again, no idea, but
I'll probably heard this song. Yeah.
If I start singing it, then it's a problem.
Yeah, it's called Mutt.
I'll definitely have heard the song, 1,000,000%. All right. What one artist that you'd love to work with?
I would love to work with Doechii. I love Doechii so much.
I've heard of that. That's brilliant. I'm well proud of myself. All right. What's your favourite dinosaur? Everybody has one.
Well, I don't know the names of the dinosaurs. I only know a T-Rex.
If you could eat one thing for the rest of your life and not get bored, what would it be?
Maybe chicken wings.
All right. I got a couple more for you. One place in the world that you'd love to work. Where would you like to go and put something together? Or places?
Maybe London, Spain, something. I don't know. Greece.
I'm sure you'll end up in all of those places at some point.
Ooh.
All right. Who would play you in a movie?
Lauren London.
Decent. And the last question, if you had to write a book about your story up to now, what would you call it?
Question. Trust the process.
Listen, mate, thank you so much. It's been really cool talking to you. And good luck this weekend. I hope it all goes very well. Thanks for listening to today's episode. If you or someone you know has a story to share, we'd love to hear from you. Reach out to us via our socials or visit www.crossingthepondpodcast.com to get in touch. Please be sure to subscribe, like, or leave a comment if you can. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Across Pond Podcasting.